Well, welcome everyone. First of all, I want to wish people a happy belated Veterans Day. Coming from a family of a lot of us are family members that have served in the armed services, being at the Naval Academy for 25 years and coaching a lot of guys that have actually served their country. I want to thank them for their service. Also, want to recognize a former mentor of mine who passed away yesterday, Coach John Robinson, a longtime coach at USC, longtime coach at the Rams, a phenomenal coach, and I had the pleasure of working for him in the late '90s, early 2000s, and learned a lot about him, how to coach, how to do things. He was an amazing man. Um, he was a guy that would talk to everybody in the building, talk to the custodian. He was a person coming from LA that NFL stars would come to the building. You know, seen him with movie stars, and he treated everybody the same. So, great man, lived a great life, influenced a lot of people, players and coaches, and I'm just one of them. So, wanted to say that first. Excited about our team coming off a huge win on the road versus Oregon State. Um, it's first time in 18 games against a Pac-12 team. Bringing that streak to the end to beat them was awesome. Beat them at their place was awesome. Loved the way our kids responded. I thought they played well. Played with some with focus, and just loved the way they attacked the entire game. Now we're moving on to Boise State, the number 12 team in the country, Sky, not 13. So this guy was telling me yesterday the 13th, and I'm telling him the 12. But done a great job this year. Coach Spencer Danielson, met him at our bowl game last year at the LA Bowl and got to know him in our conference meetings. Awesome dude, great football coach. Got to see last year's team up close and personal, the Boise State team when I was at UCLA. Good team. Obviously, they got a great team right now. 8-1 with their one loss coming against Oregon, the number one team in the country, and really had every opportunity to beat Oregon in Eugene. So it shows you how good they are. Got the Heisman Trophy front runner in Genty. I mean, he's as good a back that I've seen. Been doing this a long time. So guys that I've seen, he's the best back that I've seen since Marshall Faulk. Has it all, physical, can run between the tackles, run outside the tackles, can take it to the house, can run you over, can make you miss, durable. I mean, he's got all the intangibles. Renegade's great scheme. Coach Cutter has been around the game for a long time, does a great job of using his skill sets, and they're able to use the entire field because of their quarterback Madsen. So they got a really good scheme defensively. One of the tops in the country and sacks. Really, really sound, really good team. So there's a reason they're 8-1. There's a reason they're ranked 12th. And we're gonna have our hands full, but our kids are excited.
Questions for Coach?
Christian Vieira with the Spear. Hey, Coach. Preparing for a Heisman candidate, what does that look like? And to keep the guys, mentally focused, but also prepare for someone of that caliber.
First of all, you have to respect them. Some guys like, yeah, it's just another back. Another person. Like, no, he's not just another back. He's really, really good. And so, all of our attention is going to be on him to make sure that we can do our best that we can to try to stop him. But there have been 9 other teams that have tried that too, and nobody's succeeded. So we know we got to cut out for us. But there's always that, there's also the fine line. I mean, obviously we're playing Boise State, the number one team in our conference, a top 12 team. We still have to make sure our preparation is pure and focus on our preparation. But we definitely he has our attention. We got to try to do things to try to stop him. And we're going to do everything within our power to do that. But that's easier said than done.
Hi, Coach. Andrew Hartley with the Mercury News. Genty has this Heisman prominence, but you've got Nick Nash, someone you've considered the best wide receiver in the nation multiple times. Is it almost a sly that he's not considered in that upper echelon for that award, or where do you view him in that?
Well, I think we're grateful for the accolades that Nick does get. Obviously, Boise's been on a more of a national stage than we are this year. With just their record and playing Oregon really, really, really close, and again had a chance to beat them, and a lot of people saw them on TV. I think Nick is starting to get his recognition though. As far as being a Blitnikoff, you know, I'm not sure what the word is, nominee or somebody they're looking at. Um, he's getting people's full attention. We can see by coverages what people do to try to take him away, and people have employed everything. We've seen a lot of different ways that people have tried to stop him, and he's still been able to get his. And it's similar to Genty. From everybody knows about him. Everybody tries to stop him. Everybody has a game plan, but then you still got to tackle him. And it's still like Nick. You still got to cover him, and he's still been able to put up great numbers and help us win. So I think there's a lot of similarities that way. Um, Everything that Nick's getting, he deserves, and everything that Genty gets, he deserves. And I think Nick's accolades and his prominence, so to speak, will continue to come as we continue to play well, and he plays well.
Something, I don't know, not considered as much would be the special teams. They have a kick blocked again last week. Is that somewhat of a concern that we're this far into the season? There still continues to be those sorts of struggles going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a concern. I mean, just, but the good thing about it, we know what the issues are. We knew what happened on the first block a couple weeks ago, where that came from and what happened, and we were able to get that fixed. And then we saw what happened in this one, and that has been an area that we try to fix today. Just with personnel, making sure we tighten up the technique in that way. And so the good thing, I think, like it's fixable. But I feel like a lot of things are going well. Our kickoff team, kickoff return, punt return are doing well. We got to get our field goal situated and be got to get that group more solid. Just because that group, when it goes out, it's got to be points, and that hasn't happened every time. And if we have that this week, if we get one block or miss field goals or whatever, that it's not going to bode well for us. Probably won't win.
Aaron Johnson with the Spear, and you guys are facing a very tough team in Boise State, but you got the Spartans are 14-2 in their last 16 home games. So what is it kind of like to have Boise in front of the home fans, home crowd?
Well, we're expecting a big crowd tomorrow, so to play them at home is definitely a big bonus for us. You know what I mean? So to be 14-2, to be 4-0 this year, we've played well at home, and so we're gonna need everybody. We're gonna need the fans. We need the home field advantage, all of that to beat these guys, and we're gonna utilize it all.
And then towards the end of last game, Jordan Pollard got hit with a targeting penalty. So can you just talk about the defensive preparation for not having him in the first half?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We appealed it, and it was upheld, so he won't be able to play in the first half. But just Noah will go in, and also Jordan Cobbs. So Jordan's played a ton of games. So Noah, both guys have started for us, and JP just has to be ready to go when the second half starts, and he'll jump right in there. So we feel fortunate that we have two guys that are going to be playing that have played a lot of snaps for us this year. In fact, they've started, and so because of that depth and because of that experience, we feel better. But it still hurts to not have Jordan. I mean, he's our leading tackler, and he's been awesome this year. So, but fortunately, we'll get him back in the second half.
Nick Urias with KSJS. Coach, I mean, everyone knows it's all eyes on Ashton Genty, but their passing attack is also pretty good, and a lot of teams have sold out in the box defensively, and Maddox Madsen has been able to take advantage of that, with Caples and Lauder, their tight end, and some other pieces as well. I guess just what's the defensive game plan there, and just kind of having that healthy balance, with Boise State's offense.
Yeah, I don't want to disclose too much of what we're going to try to do, but what you said is exactly right. I mean, you just pick your poison. People would try to sell out to stop him, but Madsen's a really good quarterback, and he's hurt people through the air, and they're very capable of throwing the football. but also everybody's tried to stop him and nobody has. So it's kind of, it's kind of a dilemma. People have sold out and put a ton of guys in a box to try to stop him, and they still can't. And if they put, like you said, if they continue to employ that, they're able to get stuff in the passing game. But they're a very well-rounded team. Obviously, they rely heavily on the run because you got the best running back in the country. So it's smart on their part on what they're doing, how they attack people, time of possession, their play-pass game, their controlled passing game, all their stuff. It's, Coach Cutter's been around for a long time. He knows exactly what he's doing. Really smart coach, really smart man. And you just watch what they do. I think it's a brilliant offense for who they have and the way they implement their other weapons around him. That's why they're 8-1. They're tough to stop.
Spartans and Broncos have had a lot of good battles over the years. Obviously, 2020 Mountain West Championship, last year's contest in Boise was very good. I know this is your first year here in San Jose, but just speak on the magnitude of this game. This is going to be the highest ranked team, that's going to be coming in here in San Jose since the Spartans have joined the Mountain West. You guys kind of channel out all that noise, or you guys accept the challenge? This is a really good team coming in here, and you guys have a chance to do something special if you guys could pull this off.
No, we know. Our kids know. In today's day and age with social media, everybody knows. But we know who they are. No, we definitely respect who they are, their football team, and all that they've accomplished, all that Genty's accomplished. And when you watch tape, you can't help but say, wow. They're really, really good in all three phases. It's going to be a tough challenge for us, but we're accepting it. We're excited. We're excited about this opportunity. We feel like we're playing good football. We played our best game. I think we went from our worst game at Fresno to, I feel like, our best complete game last week against Oregon State. So that's encouraging for us. But you got a great football team with great players coming in here with a really good staff. Like I said, Spencer's done a really good job with them. You can see their culture, the way they play. They play hard. They play together. They're disciplined. Yes, Genty's good and the quarterback's good, like you said. But I've been impressed just their whole team, just the way they play. They're well coached. Like I said, you can see the discipline on the team, and it's going to be a tough challenge. But we're excited to see these guys coming into town, and we're going to do our best to get ready for them.
Vic Aquino, Mountain West Connection with SB Nation. Dovetailing on that last question, looking at what Coach Danielson preaches and shares, very similar to what you preach as far as togetherness, love, and attention to detail, keep growing, keep learning. And you mentioned a little bit about, the importance of having a kicking game. And what are other sort of tactical differentiators you think might...
As far as in this game?
In this game.
I think their way of life is very evident. We always talk about their cultures. Hey, we're playing this team, but it's our way of life versus theirs. The way we do things, the way they do things. But in my mind, when I look over and I see what they do, like you said, Vic, there's a lot of things that we try to implement: toughness, grittiness, run to the football on defense, sound. Our philosophy and how we attack offensively is different. They're obviously a running team. And we're a passing team. But I'll be honest with you, they've kind of been the standard over the years. Myself being on the East Coast for the last, 25 years and being in the American Conference and independent. You looked at on this side, the Mountain West or, the WAC or whatever before. But the teams that was kind of always up there was Boise. They've been the standard for this conference for years, and so it's always a challenge to play against them. And it's not by chance the way they've done things, because they've done it for years with different coaches. So their culture, Vic, is established, and it's, to me, it shows me humility on the new coaches that come in, because the new coaches might come in, they don't totally scrap what people have done. They take the good things and build off that, but. I hope there are some differentiators. We're just going to try to practice as hard as we can, give our guys the best chance they can, but it's going to be a tough game for you.
Also, what Boise is built, and I've asked questions of the coaches previous to that. Do you feel like this could be or should be happening at San Jose State? That brand panache, that mind share that is across the nation for Boise. That
I hope so. I hope so. You know, what I mean, just I've always felt when I first came here and saw things. I saw the facilities, the new building. I was like, wow, I didn't know that San Jose had a new building like this. You know, I mean, this is as nice a football building as anybody in the conference, and a lot of people have. You got the Bay Area, so you kind of feel like, you got the TV market here in this area. Um, there are a lot of notable alumni that have come from this school. So I just feel like there's a lot of great things that we can build off. Obviously, Coach Brennan did a lot of that. You know what I mean? Just building off all the things that I just mentioned. And hopefully we can continue to build off that. We always talk about in this area, not just the football side of it, but trying to recruit kids coming here that, you're in Silicon Valley and all the high-tech companies that are here, for afterlife, post-football, post-graduation, set you up for life. And so we feel like there's a lot of things to sell here. And but we got to continue to win. We got to win at a high level. We got to continue to get eyeballs, so to speak, watching us, and hopefully get on TV more to show what we have, and hopefully the product does well. The first game after Washington State, I know, I think we kind of opened some eyes a little bit that way, and hopefully we can continue. We'll have an opportunity this week, but if you don't play well and if you don't win, I mean, this is a result-driven profession. It is what it is. If you don't win, people leave, or the viewership or the attention to what you're doing leaves. So hopefully we can do well.
last question for me. You mentioned Washington State, obviously open eyeballs, and then what happened at the flat kind of performance of Fresno State and then Oregon State, and it looks like the emotion or the energy in terms of that was kind of the difference. How do you? I mean, if you agree with that, number one, but number two, I mean, how do you keep that sort of intangible alive?
Well, both of our coordinators use the term, we don't want to be hijacked by emotion. We just want to play and be physical and be focused, but also, have some emotion. This is a fight. Football is a physical, violent game. You're not literally fighting somebody, punching somebody, but this is a physical game. And so trying to keep that focus and that intensity at a high fight type of level is important for us while not being hijacked by the emotion. And I felt very good about our team because I saw us the way when we went off to the sideline. To me, that's always the indicator of how locked in your team is. Like you see championship teams, the Alabamas or different people in the past, we watch them, like when an opposing player goes out on the sideline, nobody pays attention. They just run off the sideline and come back. But you see other teams that don't have their pedigree, there's a lot of chirping, a lot of banter going back and forth and, hooting and hollering. I was impressed with a couple of our guys, Nick Nash and I think Justin Lockhart. There's some stuff that happened. They got tackled on their sideline. They just got up and played the next play. So I knew that we were locked in, and that's the kind of stuff that has to happen. Like you don't get caught up in people saying stuff or whatever. Obviously trash talking and smack talk is part of sports, but you can't get carried away by that. And I think maybe some games in the past we got carried away for that. I told our team I was disappointed at the Fresno State game because I felt like we came down their tunnel, and they have a tradition. They're there, kind of waiting for the opposing team coming in, and we got caught up, and we were going back and forth with them. And when I first saw that concerned me, because to me it kind of like, okay, we lost focus. Like just run to our sidelines. We don't need to say anything to them. Just kind of keep running. And so we didn't have that this past week against Oregon State. At a hostile environment with all their different things they do with the fans and all the emotions, our kids just were locked in between the white lines, and that's the way we have to play this week.
And to follow up with that, is that more of a, you kind of said it wasn't like what you wanted at the beginning of the year. Is that a player-led thing where you kind of rely on the players and the leadership of the players to make sure everybody's locked in and not get distracted by the trash talk?
Yeah, I think it's all of it, Christian. I mean, everybody's got to be locked in. Our leadership council, our captains talk about it. All the coaches talk about it. We talk about it. In a lot of the meetings, my meetings are about those kinds of things. The assistant coaches, Obviously a lot of schematic stuff. The coordinators talk about a lot of those types of things when they're with the offense and defense. There's some schematic talk as the coordinators talk, but there are also those kinds of mental preparation. And I've always told guys, you have to train the brain. You can't just get to the game and put on a headset and get, put on loud music and say you're fired up and ready for the game. You have to train it Monday through Friday. Those are things that you have to train to learn how to control yourself and how to think and be in a moment. You can't just get to the game and turn it on. So it's something that probably my biggest challenge in trying to help our team know how to play in championship moments and how to play in hostile environments and how to think clearly when there's duress and when there's adversity. How do you stay locked into your keys, into your assignment? That's hard because you're trying to do something. Somebody hits you or hits you late and you're starting to get mad and you're yelling at the guy and you missed the call. You're like, what are you doing? Oh, I was yelling at this guy and he missed the defense or offensive signal. So those are things, Christian, that it's all hands on deck. Myself, the assistant coaches, the leaders on our team, everybody has to do that. But ultimately, each individual player has to take accountability for that.
And then
More for Coach.
And then with Boise State's defensive line, they lead the nation, second in sacks, lead the Mountain West. How do you get the offensive line ready for something like that?
Yeah, we're going to prepare our best. Obviously, they do a really good job. Well coached. They put high motor, really good players. And we're just going to try our best, to have a good scheme. But it's going to be a challenge.
Final question.
Do you have any memories that you like to share of John Robinson? Favorite memories or how he's helped you in your career?
I remember one time, like I said, just being in the locker room when, a custodian person was cleaning the locker room and just in there and he was super nice to them. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, hey, give me my towel or, it wasn't any of that. Just a very humble man who talked to him and you could tell that he knew that person, you know what I mean? Because he talked to them cordially a lot. But I also went to the running backs coach, John Jackson, was also the running back coach at USC, and he came back and coached with Coach Robinson at UNLV, and he was a boxing promoter. So it's pretty cool. I became friends with John Jackson, but they invited me to some fights at Vegas, and Oscar De La Hoya fights, some big time fights back in the Floyd Mayweather, and it was kind of cool for me to go see Coach Robinson in that light because again he had just come from the Rams and SC, and we were eating dinner once, and Charles Barkley and Tiger Woods passed by, and he came and said hello to Coach Robinson, and he said hello, and it was pretty cool because he introduced me to them, but he was the same, and it just hit me as a young coach like, wow, here's a guy that, man, he knows Tiger Woods, he knows Charles Barkley, and all these people, but he's just a good person. He didn't treat them any differently than he did the custodian. Just they're people. Just because somebody's making all this money doesn't make you better than anybody else just because you have a different job. So that always resonated with me, and I didn't realize it then, but when I became a head coach, I wanted to follow that. Just treat everybody the same. He's not because he's, a star or last string or because he's a custodian or because the guy's a multi-million-dollar business owner that gives to the program. Just treat everybody with kindness, and I learned that from Coach Robinson.